fakes Ritter to the end zone, looking for Pierce. Did he hang on? Yes. Touchdown. Beat the back as I've been around. Here he goes again. Busts free. Jerome Ford down the sideline. Foot race. House call. Touchdown. 79 yards. Big run in the Peach Bowl. This is a big one too. And it's going to go all the way to the house on the first play of the scrimmage.
Bearcat Blitz ready to go for our game preview episode, little mini episode to get everybody ready for the action on Thursday night against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'm your host of Bearcat Blitz, Russ Heltman, flying solo with Neil Meyer in transit, traveling to the game, getting ready to take in the action against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We are a part of the Believe Network right here on Bearcat Blitz, and we are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook, our wonderful presenting sponsor, America's #1 sportsbook. And if I don't say so myself, the top place to bet on this game between Cincinnati and Nebraska football. You can use the tail or fade 50% profit boost from the Bussin' with the Boys crew on this game. You can bet the Cincinnati money line and get it up to almost 3-1 odds on your payout, a $10 bet. Right now, I believe it returns about $29.80 in winnings. And you can also use their 50% profit boost on a wager this weekend. I believe it's just any wager minus 200 odds or shorter for the college football action between August 28th and September 1st. There's a big match on campus profit boost as well for the Texas-Ohio State game, a no-sweat bet as well, a 50% profit boost on the LSU-Clemson game. So many ways to maximize your value with America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel Sportsbook, our wonderful presenting sponsor. A titanic matchup for the Bearcats to start their 2025 season. And before we get to the game preview, a titanic new football helmet added to the ether for the Cincinnati Bearcats. The first time they have added a football helmet design to the mix this decade. They have not done it since 2019. They're rocking the all red out look for the matchup against Nebraska at Arrowhead Stadium on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. All red, head to toe. They posted a couple of videos of star quarterback Brendan Sorsby taking in the new helm this past week. It's got a classic Cincy script with the Cincy Y kind of calligraphy right there, and it's a beautiful looking uniform. I think this is my favorite color combination that they have among all of the new uniforms, sparked up by the entrenched Nike deal going into full effect just a couple of months ago. So quick tidbit on that. The Bearcats rocking a new look on the field, a new look on offense, a new look on defense. So many new names, plenty of stable continuity on the coaching front and stable continuity on that quarterback front, as mentioned by Brendan Sorsby, entering his second season with the Cincinnati Bearcats and trying to take out the Nebraska Cornhuskers on Thursday night, a matchup where the Bearcats, as mentioned in the FanDuel promo just a couple minutes ago, are underdogs in. They are underdogs in this game entering Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern kickoff, as I mentioned. 6.5-point consensus underdogs and a point total on the FanDuel Sportsbook set at 51.5 right now. It has actually come down since I wrote my game preview just a couple of days ago. So some action on the under there. Defense is expected to get a little bit more stout than they were earlier in the week. In terms of the matchup here, ESPN's Football Power Index has Nebraska winning this game 66.2% of the time as the 29th ranked team in the Football Power Index, while Cincinnati is ranked 52nd nationally. And I am, spoiler alert, picking the Bearcats to lose this one 28-27. I have not seen any local media, any national media pick the Bearcats outright to win this game. Now, I think they definitely can, as evidenced by just a 1-point margin here at the end. But that's just interesting to me. I've not seen really anybody picking the Bearcats. More bulletin board material for Scott Satterfield to use with his team, as Cincinnati has lost just one season opener this decade, the 31-24 defeat in 2022 on the road at Arkansas. And people, if they win this game, you're facing one of the worst teams in the entire FCS region 2 weeks from now in northwestern states. And then you have the Bowling Green Falcons on the docket next week, a team ranked in Football Power Index outside of the top 100, and Cincinnati currently gauged with an 84.2% chance to win that game entering this first action of the season. So a very strong chance with an upset victory today to already be halfway to bowl eligibility by the time things are all said and done on September 13th, when Cincinnati should roll through Northwestern State, a team that has forfeited multiple games since their last legit win. Since their last logged win, they have forfeited multiple games, not even been able to finish them, unfortunately. Just been a rough go for that FCS program, but a lot of things on the line, as mentioned right now. A chance to start fast, get the ball rolling downhill the right way against a very, very talented quarterback in sophomore Dylan Raiola. And this is my X factor for the defensive side of the ball, people. They have to be able to get Dylan Raiola in man coverage situations. They got to be able to win in man coverage and be able to affect Dylan Raiola against his much worse kind of defensive design compared to zone coverage. Dylan Raiola last year, 67.1% completion rate, 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions on the campaign. Just added a new star receiver in Dane Key. They also added a fresh option on the receiver side out of California as well. So Nebraska is very flush with new talent. They have bolstered up that wide receiver core, and both those guys are over 6 foot, going up against 5'9" cornerbacks from the Cincinnati Bearcats football side of things, and Logan Wilson and Matthew McDoom. Can that size be overcome by Cincinnati? It's almost going to have to be, because if those players win in man coverage, it's going to be very difficult to slow down this Nebraska Cornhuskers passing attack, given how strong Raiola was against zone last year. 74.6% completion rate in those situations. That's the 7th best mark in the country in 2024. Top 20 Pro Football Focus passing grade against zone. And then it went south against man coverage. He was much worse at threading balls in the tight windows. 55.7 passing grade overall from Pro Football Focus on man coverage throws. That's bottom 15 nationally. Now, obviously, Dylan Raiola knows that, and I'm sure he worked on his man coverage acumen throughout much of this offseason, but it's still something that Cincinnati needs to lean on, needs to test him against. And if those cornerbacks can hold up in man coverage with this stout, large defensive front, I don't think they're starting anybody along the defensive front three that's smaller than 260, 265 pounds. When you think about Marquez Parker, Micah Coleman, Jalen Hunt, and Dante Corleone, that are going to be kind of leading the way right there for the front line of the defense. That amount of size going up against this offensive line that is used to seeing its more finesse-laden, smaller Nebraska defensive line on the other side, it could be a 1-2 punch that allows Cincinnati to get out to an early lead and put Dylan Raiola in even more consistent passing scenarios. Playing from in front here is huge for Cincinnati. Getting Dylan Raiola into must-pass situations, keeping him uncomfortable with that man coverage is going to be massive. But it all starts with Wilson and Matthew McDoom. If those guys get roughed up, if those guys can't overcome the 4 or 5, sometimes, I mean, at points, it's going to be a 5-inch size difference on the field on these 50-50 balls. If they're not able to overcome that, and Cincinnati is getting thrown over the top on when man coverage, it's going to be a long day defensively for the Bearcats, and they most likely will not win this game. The entire wide receiver core for Nebraska is at least 6 foot tall, and so going to be difficult to overcome this offense, especially an offense with an offensive line that is expected to be the strength of the team entering this season. They are widely projected to be a top 30 unit, but a little bit less stout on the pass protection front as opposed to the run blocking front, where Cincinnati may get roughed up a little bit, but they just cannot give up those big plays offensively, especially in the passing game. Got to bow up on that passing defense, and especially bow up in man coverage. That's the first big factor for the Bearcats defense. And then offensively, can Cincinnati find a way to get after a much worse Nebraska pass defense than run defense. This is one of the best run defenses in the entire country from last season, and I expect them to be close to that once again. They gave up minus 0.24 EPA per rush allowed. That's expected points added per carry allowed. That was the second best mark among any Big Ten team in the conference last year. 100, and for people who are used to more traditional stats, they allowed just 101.23 rushing yards per game. That was the 8th best mark nationally. It's going to be difficult to run the ball against this front, and to get them out of that kind of load up the box, prove to us that you can throw the football on us with these new weapons mentality, it's going to come down to Brendan Sorsby. I'm looking at him to be the X factor for Cincinnati in this game. If he plays to the best of his ability, he's going to outplay Dylan Raiola, and he could very possibly lead Cincinnati to the upset win here. Cincinnati has Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell, Noah Jennings. I mean, multiple. All of their receiver core starting in this game will be new names that Brendan Sorsby has gone to bat for. They've all mentioned how he was in their DMs, he was fighting for them to come to Cincinnati, and now you get the chance to prove why you wanted these guys so bad and get to prove that you've been working together on this chemistry that's so important between wide receiver and passer for the entire offseason. Last year, Cornhuskers ranked 65th nationally in passing yards allowed per game. Most of that group returns in a very veteran-laden battery, but it's a battery that sure could improve a little bit, but how much are they going to improve on an 85th best PFF coverage grade in the country last season? Heavy running multiple times this year are going to win games for the Bearcats, but Brendan Sorsby's arm is the difference here. Brendan Sorsby has to be able to get the job done through the air, find his pass-catching options in multiple different facets. In terms of what I mean by that is you can't just be focused on Joe Royer. Immediately coming out of the gate, I expect Joe Royer to get bracketed coverage from this defense, and I expect them to dare Brendan Sorsby and this receiving core to beat them. Will they be able to? That's what we're about to find out. That's why we come and watch these games. That's why we go to practice. That's why we do it, to be able to be in this moment and get ready for a primetime matchup between two top 50 schools in the country, and a chance for Cincinnati to really stamp its mark on the 2025 season and get off on the right foot for really the first time in the Scott Satterfield era. They have not necessarily gotten off to hot starts in his tenure, so it would be good to do that right here. They're healthy. They have the continuity. They have the confidence internally. They have the doubt externally to fuel them. And I don't know if the Bearcats are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a close one that Nebraska ends up pulling off. But first half money line, which is a decent option right now for bettors on the FanDuel Sportsbook, I could see that happening. I could see the Bearcats getting out to a good start here and overcoming the first half spread, which is, let me pull it up here. The Bearcats on the first half are currently plus 3.5 to win the first half. And the first half money line has Cincinnati plus 182, and to just have no ties and them win outright plus 164 when you factor in the tie split. That would return you your money back. So I think Cincinnati has a chance to come out and get out to a hot start here, catch Nebraska off guard with its new passing attack and passing attack options. And also, if that defense can hold up right away and not get thrown over the top of with those shorter corners going up against those taller wide receivers, very well could see Cincinnati playing from in front for a portion of this game, maybe leading into the halftime locker room. So I have the Bearcats winning this game 28-27, or excuse me, not the Bearcats, the Nebraska Cornhuskers win this game 28-27 in what should be, I think, a really fun matchup, a really fun ball game, and a tough pill to swallow if it's a loss for the Bearcats, but if that's the result, you got to feel pretty solid about the trajectory and where they can go after losing the final 5 games of the 2024 season. For Neil Meyer, I'm Russ Heltman. This has been Bearcat Blitz on the Believe Network. Once again, please check out FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook, where you can use the Taylor Fade 50% moneyline profit boost on Nebraska or Cincinnati. Also a 50% profit boost straight up on any game this weekend, and multiple profit boosts as well for LSU Clemson and OSU Texas, and a no-sweat bet as well. There's 5 different kind of boost options or no sweat options for college football fans to get their hands on this weekend. No better place to bet on college football than FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook and our wonderful presenting sponsor. Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll be back next week to break it all down.
6, Ritter to the end zone, looking for Pierce. Did he hang on? Yes. Touchdown. Back as I've been around. Here he goes again. Busts free. Jerome Ford down the sideline. Foot race. House call. Touchdown. 79 yards.